Welcome back to Wargaming World, to England's 1648, and to a new game of 1 Hour Wargames. Okay, so this will be the first game of 2026, so Happy New Year to everybody watching. And it's going to be a battle in the Second English Civil War between the New Model Army, which you'll see there at the back of the screen, and the Scots Covenant invading. And the battle over this river, it's over two areas. It's over the bridge there on the right hand side, and you'll just be able to see the ford here on the left. And so for those familiar with 1 Hour Wargames, it's the third scenario, which is control the river. So as I mentioned, these 2 points, a ford, and over on the right hand side, the bridge. Okay, so the start of the game is to set up the Red Army, which is the New Model Army. So let's take a look at the forces, which are 6 units. Unit are the Dragoons. I've got some dismounted Dragoons as well as some mounted. 3 pike and shot units, one here, and alongside the cannon, which is another unit, there is pike and shot. Finally on the other flank, another dragoon unit. Now, very similar forces, but I'll just take a closer look at the Scots before I deploy them. We've got 3 pike and shot units here. On the left hand side we've then got some lancers, and behind them another cavalry unit. The final unit is here. We've got cannon as well. Right, so let's go over the rules very quickly for those who aren't familiar, and a couple of tweaks for those who are. Firstly, each unit has effectively 15 points for casualties. Once you get to 15, the unit is removed. In terms of combat, it is somewhat to the death. They fight until one of the units is removed. I have added cannon into this. In the normal rules, pike and shot cannons aren't there, but they are added in. They are a unit and can fire up to 24 inches, which means they're just out of range at the moment, but as soon as either side move, they'll be in range. One of the other tweaks is that normally when units fire, we then roll 1d6 to see whether they run out of ammunition, and on a 1 or 2 they will. In this case, I'm going to do it where it's just a 1, and that's a variation that I'm going to make, and so we know from the outset. Okay, so I've got my Scots deployed. Effectively, is going to be the end of the first turn in terms of deployment, and over to the New Model Army to start off the action. I also play solo, so for each unit at the start of each turn we draw from a card and see what the consequence is. So for New Model Army we start with an 8. And as a consequence, it means it's an ammunition shortage. 1 to 3 of the units may not fire this turn. Not going to make any difference because the Scots aren't moving. It's the New Model Army first of all, and although I'm going to move the infantry, they're not going to be within 12 inches to fire, and if I move the cannon, they aren't going to be able to fire. So it's just movement. Okay, no shooting, and a general advance from the New Model Army. So over now to the Scots. Start with a card for the Scots. That's a jack. Well, that's a good card because a jack, or 11 on the notes, is initiative, so a single unit can do something twice. Now a unit can already move and shoot, so perhaps we might shoot twice. Okay, so I've moved forward with these 2 units. The infantry over here, although I'm keeping my cavalry in reserve. Cannon, fire twice at the infantry advancing. So it's a 1d6 impact, and so it's the blue dice. The black dice is if I roll 1, we run out of ammunition. No, but the impact is 2. I'm going to fire twice. So the impact is 5. As mentioned before, it's 15 is the total in terms of casualties, so 5 on this unit. New turn, and the new model army card is a 4. The 4 is no impact. Right, we've moved up these units. They're out of range to fire at either the cavalry or the infantry. Unit up so that it can fire at this infantry, and we can also fire with the cannon at the infantry on the other side. Advance 2, so again there's going to be more firing over here. Starting off this unit, firing at Scots here. Same again in terms of it's the red dice this time, because it's the new model army, and if it's a 1 I run out of ammunition with the black dice. So 4 is the impact. It's the target for the cannon. Same rules. And it's only going to be 1 for an impact. The unit that's advanced up to the bridge is within 12 inches of this target. Right, a slight deviation here. I've got 1 unit. I've got musketeers on either side. They're going to fire at 2 different targets. So I'm going to say it's half effect. I'll have to keep an eye on it, make sure they don't run out of ammunition. First of all, this target over here. So it happens. It's just, well, I'm going to say 1 would be the result, however it's half effect, so I'm going to say nothing happens here. Over here, with this the target, in half effect, and I'm going to say I won't round up, I'll round down, I'll say 2 is the impact. Finally, the dragoons. 2 more, so the impact is 4 in total on that unit. So, new card, what's the impact on the Scots? 3 is nothing, so I've moved up cavalry and infantry, so both can fire in a moment. We'll fire at the same target. Over here I've advanced 1 of the units, but again they can move and fire. I'll do the same format that I did a moment ago in terms of splitting the fire. And over on the right hand side, the final unit will fire at those dragoons. Cavalry first, firing at the dragoon unit. So 4 is the impact. This is the target for this unit. 6 is the impact. Got the cannon firing at the infantry over there. Just the 1, so that unit goes up to 6. Now this unit, the musketeers either side of the bridge can actually fire at the same target, so that's convenient, so I'll do that. Impacts 3. Final target is the dragoon unit from Scots here, and the impact is just the 1. And so this is where we are in the game so far, the end of the turn. Over to the new model army. It's a new turn, and one of the problems I've realised for the new model army is that the guns are too far away and I haven't got a line of sight on the Scots, so I'm going to have to move those up. But first of all I need to have a look at a card and see what impact that might make. It's a 3, so nothing at all. Problem is that also I'm not in a particularly good position for the new model army to get units across at this stage. I need to make some kind of impact on the Scots, who have an advantage in both sides here. So let's see how the firing might change the situation. First of all, the dragoons are in range to fire at the cavalry over here. Impact of 3, however, the dragoons have rolled a 1, so it means they've now run out of ammunition. Over here I'm firing at the infantry, which have already got 4 in terms of casualties, taking 4 more. Second unit firing at the same target with now sitting at 8, up to 10. Now, I can't use the cannon, but I can use the infantry on the Scots there. At the moment they've only got 1 casualties. And another 2, so that's up to 3. The dragoons firing with the unit who's on 4, and that goes up to 8. Card for the Scots. Now what does a joker mean? It's going from bad to worse for the new model army, because that means there's an enemy panic. A single enemy unit acquires 1 to 6 hits. We'll go left to right in terms of the units. Which one is it? It's number 5, and 5 is here. How many hits? 4. Unit is now up to 7. Now in the knowledge that the dragoons aren't a threat, I moved my cavalry forward, and I'm going to bring both the cavalry and infantry to fire this unit, which at the moment sits on 6. Cavalry first, and that's 6, so the unit is up to 12. And the infantry, just 1, so the unit is up to 13 in terms of casualties. For the cannons, I'm going to fire at the same target. This unit is on 6 at the moment. Let's see what the impact is. Right, another 6, so that unit is up to 12. This action could be over very quickly. The rolls that are going in at the moment, so I'm going to fire with this infantry unit over at the unit which is on 7. Goes up to 9. I've got an opportunity to finish it off here, so with this unit I'm going to fire again at this target, so if I get a 6 it's removed. Very near, it's a 5, so that unit goes up to 14 in casualties. Well, it's a new turn, and it's been pretty disastrous really for the new model army. We see what happens with a new card, but it could well be a very quick Scots victory. Okay, it's a 9. Well, it's almost inevitable, but that's a 9, which is demoralisation, and a single unit takes 1 to 6 hits. Which unit? Unit 2. And unit 2 is this one, which is already on 13. Roll the blue dice for the impact. It's a 2, and that means this unit is removed from the board. Okay, as my dragoons can't fire, I've mounted up and withdrawn. Keep them at the back of the board so they can't get fired upon, and maybe come back into the game looking at this ford. However, I need some very lucky dice rolls. So first of all, I'm going to fire with this unit at the infantry and hope that I can get either a 5 or 6 in terms of casualties. 5 or 6 would remove an infantry. Unfortunately, it's only a 2, so that unit goes up to 12. I think the game is a little bit beyond the new model army, but I can fire with the cannon and this unit at this target, which currently sits on a 3. Cannon. Impact of 3, however, it runs out of ammunition. The infantry unit is a 4, so the total casualties here is a 10, and as I said, the cannon is no longer useful, and we already know that the next firing at this unit will mean that it is removed. We've got dragoons here, and they will fire at this unit. That's a 6. That unit is up to 14. Over to the Scots, really, to close the battle out, I think, unless it's a terrible card. King. Okay, so it's a rally, 1 to 3 of one's own units, remove 1 to 3 hits. How many units will that be? 4, so that's 2 units. So if we ignore 5s and 6s, we'll see which units. So first of all, number 1 here, it's on a 3. How many do we reduce it by? Just the 1. And of the other 3 units, it'll be number 6, so that's the third one. Helpful because it's this unit. And the amount of rally, the 4 is another 2. And so they go down to 12. I think this is definitely going to be the last phase of the game, because the Scots have now advanced with the cavalry over the ford here, and I've wheeled around with my infantry. They're going to fire at the units over on the other side of the river, as are the cannon, and the unit itself only has it already has 12 for casualties, so if we take 3 more, it is removed from the board. Unit first. There is 2. It retains ammunition, and we know that the cannon is going to fire, so this unit is going to be removed in a moment. Cannon has it does cause casualties, but it runs out of ammunition, but it's fairly academic because this unit over here is now removed. And now over on this side, we know that this unit has 14 casualties, so a minimum of 1 with this unit firing. So it is going to be removed from the board, and therefore I'm going to call it as a very strong Scots Covenant victory. Okay, so that's the end of the game, and a resounding victory for the Scots. See, as they take the bridge and ford the river with the dragoons of the new model army retreating in the background there. It's a definite victory, as well as capturing guns too. So, well done the Scots, and we'll see what happens next time round. Okay, just want to say thanks very much for watching the game. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been very much the same way as it's aimed within a 1 hour war game. Quick game, quick action, and a clear result for a Scots victory. So, see which game I put out next time. Say once again, Happy New Year to everybody, and thanks to all those who continue to follow the Wargaming World channel. And if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe and watch lots of the other videos that are already out there. Okay, hope you've enjoyed the game, and that you have a great 2026. Bye for now.